Good evening and welcome back to Bedtime Stories with Neelu. How are you? Thank you so much for all your story responses on yesterday's story, The Midas Touch. So sometimes a little more can be harmful. That's the message in the story. Those who missed this story can go back to my IGTV channel on Instagram. I'm Neelima Neel on Facebook. You can catch me anywhere. So coming to today's story. Today's story is, the wall in the garden. So my thoughts on this story. So I read it somewhere. So once there was a young girl. She was very, very beautiful and she loved gardening. So she inherited a beautiful garden from her grandmother. So she decided to garden, become a full-time gardener. So she would plant exotic plants in her garden. Many people would come to see her garden and she would be thrilled because she used to work so hard that the fruits and flowers in the garden would make everyone rejoice when they saw. So one day, while walking in the market, she finds a beautiful sapling, a wine sapling. She says, now I need to put this, a wine plant. She wants to, she says, I will plant this and it will bear some sort of a wine. Wine means a creeper. So she says, I'm going to see beautiful flowers on this. I'm going to take care of this. And she takes it home. She plants it very close to the wall of the garden. And when she plants it, she puts a lot of manure. She puts water every day, and she takes care of it very well. Soon, the plant, bears leaves, fresh green leaves, and she feels very. She enjoys seeing that plant like that, blooming. So she says, "Oh, now there are green leaves. Soon, there will be flowers on this." On this plant. And she keeps thinking like this, and months pass by and she doesn't see a single flower on the plant. So she gets very annoyed. She gets very annoyed. And she says, I've been putting in so much effort. And see, look at this plant. All the plants in the garden are so beautiful. And I worked so hard. And I worked the hardest on this plant. But this plant didn't give any results. And she feels very disappointed. So while she was thinking like this, she gets a call from her neighbor. Her neighbor calls out and says, you know what? Thank you so much for the wonderful blooms from your garden. They look so pretty, from my window. She says, where are the flowers? So the neighbor says, here are the flowers. So you can see them from my window. So the girl runs to the neighbor's window. So where she goes and sees that, from the crevices of the wall, the plant breaks through and blooms on the other side of the wall where it faces the neighbor's window. So on the other side of the wall, the flowers bloom, which the girl couldn't see, from this side of the wall. So, and then she feels so happy, to see the fruits of her labor. So there ends the story. So the message in the story is hard work always pays. And we must be patient. We must not be in a hurry to see the results of our efforts. And many a times we think, oh, this didn't work, just so we give up very fast. So I remembered this quote from my mentor's book, Daisakuikada, the great Buddhist philosopher. He says that, whenever you encounter a wall, remember that there is a huge expanse on the other side. We all look at the wall, but we don't see on the other side of the wall. So then, I remembered something while reading the story. When I just finished my graduation, and my father and mother, they wanted me to do post graduation. So by the time I was already working, I just finished my graduation and I took up a job, in a computer firm. And I was very busy all the time and I enjoyed that job. So my father said, you have to do a master's degree, and if not, you will remain uneducated. Just a graduation degree is not enough. Just being a graduate is not enough. So I didn't want to do it, so I just kept postponing it for the next year. Then suddenly one day when I came home, one of my cousins was there. She used to work for the university, and she was there with a form. She said, please fill up this form. There is an MA entrance going on, Master of Arts, Masters of Arts, Master of Arts. And so you need to fill up this form, and you can give the entrance exam. So I was like hating it, because in front of my father she said this, and so I have to give this exam. So I prepared for it. I gave the exam. I cleared it, and I bagged a seat in MA Lit, yeah, English literature. So I was like, okay, now I have to study. So I used to go to work at 8 o'clock. I used to go to the library, and I managed to get a friend from a senior who used to prepare notes and who would get good books for me to read. And the library was huge. There were hundreds and hundreds of people scattered all over the library. Yeah, it was spread over acres of land. So I would sit and, like, study in the night, and there were like 150 sonnets of Shakespeare, Milton's Lost Paradise, and I used to sit and read and try to understand the story, because in MA you need to write, like, 20 pages, almost 20 pages, answers. So I studied a lot, and then finally, like, I finished my MA, yeah. And after that I came to Bombay, and then I pursued French, and then, like, I did a lot more. I got into acting, and I did theater, so many things. So I said, where is my MA? Like, I'm not utilizing it anywhere. Yeah, only when I spoke people liked, that's all. Like, where is my MA English literature? Where is it gone? Yeah, what all I read I forgot, that's what I thought. But look at the benefits of doing that course now. Yeah, after many many years I realized that education always comes handy. Yeah, so the efforts, yeah, the fruits of my efforts, have the efforts which I had put in then, had borne fruits now. Yeah, so it has borne fruit. Yeah, so now I am being able to understand the true value. Now I read, Robert Frost, or if I read Shakespeare sonnets, I understand them so well, better than what I did then. Yeah, so education always pays, hard work always pays. Do not give up so easily. If you have put in effort, it will definitely give you results at some point or the other in your life. Yeah, at some time in your life. So, thank you so much for your kind attention. Please, write down what you feel about the story. I'll respond to all the comments related to this story. So, I'll see you tomorrow here again, only on Bedtime Stories with Neelu, with the last story of Bedtime Stories, the 100th story. And from then, we'll continue as Sunday Stories with Neelu. Yeah. So, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Wake up, sleep well, wake up with a big dream and great thought, fresh thought, and implement it. Yeah, good night.